Greetings and salutations, fine people. I'm Patti Alvarez. Welcome to The Good Soul, a show where we'll have supercharged chats with everyday humans from all walks of life and unpack what in their story will inspire us all. We'll extract the untapped wisdom, distill it, and serve it up to you in all the right ways that will engage, enlighten, and most of all, inspire growth within your soul. I think people are awesome. So join me on this journey through the hearts and minds of ordinary people to uncover the good soul within you. This is The Good Soul. Hey everyone, welcome to The Good Soul, episode 63. I'm your host, Patti Alvarez, and today we're diving into the world of biohacking and living well with our guest, Ben Vanhook, the visionary owner of Livewell Spa at Langtree in Mooresville. A true Renaissance man, Ben's journey and innovative therapies at Livewell are transforming lives, myself included. From infrared saunas to salt therapy and so much more, we'll explore how these unique approaches boost health and well-being. So let's get started. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. So I always like to give a little bit of history that Ben and his wife, Shayna, am I saying it right?
Yes,
Shayna,
that is correct.
Own Livewell, Livewell Spa?
Yep, Livewell, and it will be eventually Livewell Health Institute.
Okay.
So I'll have a medical side to it as well.
Okay, great. I go there and I always say I try not to ask too many questions. I'm trying to learn, especially through Brittany, who works there, like, tell me exactly what's happening when I'm on the Vibragenix or like infrared. What's happening? And she's saying, what do you want to get out of this? Mood elevation or lymph detox? You know, there's all these different protocols, and we'll get into the details of everything. But what got you like interested in biohacking? I mean,
I guess it was my journey. So I grew up a school teacher and then went into land development, and that's a rough life. So whenever you're in what we were doing all over the country, land development, you really don't have a routine that you can stay with. It's so hard living on the road.
Okay.
And then
land development, like large, like grading,
large tracts of land, and then we go in, lay it out, develop it, put the roads in, put the utilities in.
Oh wow!
And then sell it. And that is a rough life, being on the road all the time. It takes a special kind of worker. And I've been blessed that everyone over the last 15 years has followed me around and developed. So I got really unhealthy being on the road all the time because you're always eating out. In my life, I have always been, I have MTHFR.
So what is that?
So MTHFR is a gene mutation. I actually have 7 gene mutations.
Wow.
But MTHFR is one of the worst ones because it's very prone to addiction. Because you get in a circle, a pattern, and you can't get out of it. Repetition. And you know, if you get something in your brain and you can't get it out, you probably have MTHFR if you think about it over and over. Yeah. But, you know, I was a very heavy drinker. To the point, you know, I went from drinking a lot of beer one day to at the end I was probably drinking 2 bottles of bourbon a day.
The brown booze, yeah,
all the time. So through this, I was a high school coach, and I've always had health. I've always been very pushed towards healthy, but of course, alcohol and eating out all the time is not going to make you very healthy. That muscle right away. Yeah, it really, really affects it. So luckily, I was doing healthy things even while I was drinking. So
I get that, Ben.
Yeah, it finally got to the point where my doctor's like, your blood work is just, we've got to do something about it. And I decided anything that I've ever done in my life, I've been able to turn it off or turn it on whenever I wanted to. So I just stopped drinking, went through and started making, how am I going to do this and how am I going to stick with it all the time? And the biggest thing was creating routines. But going back, I was doing routines and healthy things. I just was also killing myself with unhealthy things.
Can I just hit pause? A few quick questions.
Yep.
What type of coach?
I was a football and baseball coach.
Football and baseball, high school?
High school. My dad was a coach. He was the coach of our hometown growing up.
Okay, he was the man.
Yeah,
You'll
and
have
then
one of
whenever,
those, yeah.
Saying, hey, coach.
yeah, that was,
He was
everybody
coach.
called him coach. That
He
was,
was coach. Yeah.
so whenever I was able to start playing, he actually stopped coaching, went to the athletic director and started coaching me.
Okay.
So I had a live-in coach my entire life.
And he had a coach to teach you how to coach. So it's
Yes.
different than coaching the
That's
students
exactly
or
right.
the players. It's,
I mean, to the point whenever we would do, I wanted to be referee Little League basketball games, he would come and referee with me to teach me how to referee.
yeah, that's great. That's
So-
a very different job, coaching the
Yep.
players and coaching the coach.
And it was great. So whenever, I coached high school, but I also coached some Little League, and he would coach Little League with me. He would
Nice.
coach high school with me. He loves coaching, even to the point whenever my nephew, he now plays baseball at Mooresville. He's transferring to Brevard. He coached him all the way through as well.
Wow. How did you get, I don't mean to keep hopping around, but
Nope.
how did you get from teaching to land development?
It was more, so I've always been driven whenever I was growing up. So I had a business in college that I built, sold, got into teaching, and I was basically like, I've got to do something to make money. After I was making more doing what I was doing in college than what I was doing teaching. So I went and got my real estate degree or license, and I was at the very end of where I could start a company just by getting my license. You can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Started a real estate company, and I went to a land sale one time, and they sold more land in 2 hours than it was during the Great Depression, I call it, 2007 to 2011.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in 2010, I watched them sell more land than I'd sold in 3 years of real estate in 2 hours, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Wow. Okay.
So I went out and got some investors, founded a development. Then you could buy them from the banks.
No experience in the field?
My dad had built houses and done a few small developments,
Yeah.
and I'd help him with those.
It's impressive.
But it was a trial by fire. I learned
Yeah.
everything as I went.
You're
very
a go
quickly.
big or go home, though, it seems like. If you're doing something, you're obsessively going to be relentless.
That's that MTHFR. I've got to.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
going.
it's like,
Get it done and get it done right.
and
Yep,
Manny
that's
always
it.
says to me, too, like about my ADD, he's like, that is completely working to your advantage.
Yes,
So keep it up.
Mine helps with I have ADHD, and actually probably the worst case they'd ever seen. They got to the point they stopped asking.
Close there, man. Like I said, but
Yeah.
She hands look good.
Yeah.
I think
For
it
the
looks
most
great.
part. But the addiction stuff, all that, I can very much relate to
That
all
goes
of that.
to
Yeah.
it, and I've been addicted to other things besides
Of course, yeah.
alcohol. I've been addicted to work, but whenever I was 16, I actually tore my ACL. I still don't have an ACL in this leg. I played
Oh,
3
wow.
sports without it, and they gave a 16-year-old Percocet and OxyContin at the same time. So I went down that path, but one day I just didn't want to take those anymore.
Yeah.
Just
Ben, with or without program, did you stop drinking?
I actually went to a program. I actually went to Malibu for 21 days.
Oh, okay. What's the name of that, Malibu?
Well, I didn't go to the famous one.
Oh, okay.
I went to Rise, and I didn't have to go to. I didn't need a program. I could have went and I was in the habit, and we had so much going on and so much pressure. It was one of those, I would drink to go to sleep at night to unwind, and then wake up and have 9 million things. And you actually think that drinking's helping with the stress and anxiety, but it's just adding to it.
Oh God, the worst.
It's
We call
the
it
worst.
anxiety.
Yeah, it's anxiety, and you're in this pattern. I just had to break that pattern to where, and it actually helped everyone in my company grow up,
Yeah.
because everybody would come to me with the problems.
Yeah.
So basically, it was like, for 21 days,
I go to teacher.
Yeah.
you're
on it.
you're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going, and that's all I need to do is just a break from it. But I took everything with me I was doing. I took my NAD shots.
Yeah.
I took my Duo blend. Dr. Manish, he helps me. He helps me with the peptides and NAD.
Okay.
And
Ben, I have to cut you off. We
Yep.
have to wrap this segment up. So we'll hold that thought, because I have a big question when we come back, guys.
Yep.
I'm sure we can all relate in so many different ways. So stay tuned. We will see you in just a few here on The Good Soul. Don't go away. This segment of The Good Soul is brought to you by Aaron Fisnick, certified luxury home specialist with Ivester Jackson Christie's International Real Estate. Aaron serves all levels of the greater Lake Norman region real estate market, and whether buying or selling, she is very much the lady who will deliver like no other. Many of us at Good Soul are also really happy clients. Erin can be reached at 704-728-5657 or reach out to me and I'll get you guys connected. Thank you, Erin Fisnick, and thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the Good Soul. Welcome back, everybody, to the Good Soul. I am Patti, and I am here with Ben. Say your last name so I'm saying it right.
Vanhook.
Vanhook. It's that simple.
It's one word, lowercase h.
One word, lowercase a.
Yep.
And I asked your wife the other day, I'm like, Ben or Benjamin? And she was like, either or. Benjamin professionally, Ben. I'm
Yep.
like, but I'm an Italian girl from New Jersey. We don't call anybody by like their full name. So
Right.
you're going to be Ben. And
No,
I'm sure
that's
I'll come
good.
up with something else. But
is
I got this
good.
big mincemeat of everyone's name. Anyway, okay. I have one other question about your addiction, because I think your addiction that you've conquered is one thing that I grapple with is that the guilt that I feel when I'm drinking, like, again, like I'm still drinking. I don't not drink, but I don't think it's, man, you don't think it's a big problem, do you? Right? No, not at all. So,
Right.
I know I'm so hard on myself, but even still, like I feel so guilty.
Right.
Maybe there's that 40-minute window where I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy. And I'm phew. So you experience that yourself.
Oh yeah, that's one reason why I drank so much, because I didn't want to, while I was drinking, experience the guilt before you went to bed. You wake up with the guilt, and then you're in that pattern, and it's like you start drinking again at lunch or maybe even before lunch. But I was just in such a pattern that everyone's coming to me with problems, and you got to be able to get through the day. And you think that the alcohol is actually helping you get through the day, but it's just compounding your problems. It's still in your next day. It's still in time from you and your happiness down the road. That's that's how I saw it.
Working on it's a hangover in the morning.
That's it. That's the problem.
It's funny that I willingly know there's no way I could function like what you say, like 2 bottles of bourbon a day. Like I'll have a night like once every like week and a half where we'll go out and like I can talk and walk and I'm not like, falling all over the place, but I just feel so guilty the next day.
The next day is the worst guilt.
The worst.
That's why you start drinking again, so you don't feel the guilt.
What do they call that? Hair of the dog? Okay, so all right, that's again. This could be another episode.
Oh yeah, I can give you a full episode on that subject. I know, we need to do like a whole series on Ben. Okay, so let's talk about biohacking and how you segued all of this into being where you are today. Yep. So it started with trying to be healthy while I was drinking. So I took a NAD was the real first thing, and I suggest anybody get on NAD.
Can you explain to us what NAD is?
So it's the pure form of niacin B3. So what it does is make your mitochondria start growing again, your DNA.
You hear that, honey?
Oh, MS.
Yeah, it will help with that. So whenever you die of old age, it's actually your body is completely depleted of NAD. Okay. So I've never had, through every person I've talked to, whether you're holistic or you are, hardcore doctor of medicine, that you're doing prescription medication and that's what you're pushing. Every single person I've ever talked to, every doctor, every holistic doctor, every chiropractor, take NAD. Everyone. So the fact that both sides, that's a hard marriage.
Everyone agrees. What form do you take it in?
So I take an injectable every other day. I take a 50 shot, and then I'll take an IV every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. And you offer the NAD IV?
We do offer the NAD.
Is that suggested every 2 weeks?
No, that's just something that I got into. And, I think that's the big reason. Whenever I was drinking heavy and my blood work was so bad, whenever I quit drinking, 30 days later, I did blood work. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Manish is like, I've never seen anybody's improved this much, this fast. But I was taking the NAD the whole way through. It detoxes you. It cleans your liver, makes your mitochondria start growing. It really flushes your body out. And that's one reason why I'll do a heavy dose of it through the IV, is just to flush my body out.
Yeah.
The detox part of it. And it gives you energy. It's an energy boost. Like there's nothing else that'll give you that much energy.
EMS is what? worst things.
The mitochondria is
Mhm.
what, I'm
Tired.
sure you know this if you don't.
Yep.
The mitochondria, for those of you who don't know, it's like the line, the coating of the wire. If your nerves were a wire,
Right.
I mean, that is what MS is that, that the coating of Manny's wires.
I'm short.
He's short circuiting.
That's
And
what
more with-
that's what it will help with. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have NAD at our house. Stacy was trying to convince me to get it for you. We have it in the pill form, but I would love to see you start. Do you feel like that IV is the most effective?
Yeah, and it doesn't go through your liver. That's the biggest thing. I try to keep as much stuff, so I do injectables and the IVs. And whenever you take a pill, your stomach acid breaks down, and you don't absorb as much of it. And that's another reason why I'm doing the injectable or the IV.
How long you been doing injectables?
Been doing the injectables for probably whenever I got back. Let's see, what's the date on my arm? 2 years. About 2 years.
2 years. And do you get those like at like an online pharmacy or
You
do your
can.
doctor?
I get them from Dr. Manish. He actually uses a compound pharmacy in Florida. I ordered them 2 days ago. I'll have them today.
That's awesome. So we would suggest then, if for somebody like you and me even, to do injectables.
I suggest everyone does it.
Yeah. And okay. So moving beyond the NAD.
Into biohacking, I was a math major, so I'm big into frequency, and everything in the world is a frequency whenever you look at it. So whenever I'm biohacking, I'm trying to see everything that produces frequency in your body. If you look at your DNA, and what they're seeing is it's basically a somatic pattern in everything. If you look at seashells in the world, there's a pattern of how something grows, and it's a somatic pattern, which is a frequency pattern. So I'm big into frequency, which just about everything in our Livewell has a frequency to it. Besides the foot bath, which that actually does have a frequency. It's positive and negative ions, so it's either pulling positive. Whenever it's positive, it's pulling the negative ions out of you. Whenever it's negative, it's pulling the positive ions out, because they attract each other and they neutralize. But for me, if you said it before, if I'm doing something, it's go big.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to just stop all the bad things, all the drinking, anything else I was doing, and just be making it by. I wanted to actually have the energy to go out and conquer the world. That's what I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking, what are we going to conquer today?
Yeah.
And I want to feel good while I'm doing it. And getting into the routine, most doctors, most psychologists will tell you 70% of staying sane is getting into a routine. So I slowly built a routine of biohacking and just try to do one thing whenever I started, do one thing and get that down, then add something else to it. And then once you get your 2 things down, add something else.
Habit stacking.
Yeah. And it's basically the rule of exponential. And again, being a math major, I'm always relating something. So the rule of exponential is, even if you start slow, you keep adding to it, eventually it's going to make a big difference in what you're doing. But the bad part about that is it goes the other way. Exponential has an upside and a downside. I'm sure
like everything, black, white, dark light.
Yeah.
On and on.
I'm sure P. Diddy didn't just wake up and do whatever he was doing.
Yeah,
And what
of
he's on.
course.
He started something, and then he did something else, and he did something else.
Yeah.
Then he went way down there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the routine, first the routine was stop drinking. Then the routine was wake up earlier. Then the next routine was wake up earlier, get in the sauna. And then I was doing the NAD.
I'm getting emotional. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
So,
and then, wake up early, get in the sauna, work out.
Yeah.
And it's slowly built over time to where now I have a routine that I can stick with every day. And I can tell if I break my routine.
Oh God, yeah. I think
if you take a day off, then the next day it's harder to do it. And you take 2 days off, it's almost impossible on the third day. And you really have to focus on, this is my routine. I'm going to do this routine because I know how much better I feel.
Yeah. Now, did you you were living in North Carolina at this point, correct? Did you go to Livewell at that time? Was that part of your routine?
So we had been there previously, and we've talked about doing a Live Well for 10 years. And everybody is like, why, you've got so much going on. Why do you want to do this? And I think the real thing is, I grew up as a coach and a teacher, and I wanted to help people. You're not a coach or a teacher because it's for you, unless you're in the bigger MBA or,
you're making 8 figures, 7
right.
figures.
Then it's probably for you. But I've always wanted to help people be better at what they're doing. So we had talked about this. Britannia, the nurse that's at Livewell, I met her from doing IV. She was working an IV clinic down in Cornelius, and we just became really good friends in it. And she was going to be a nurse practitioner, and we would always talk about it and build it. And I've always said that if we did a Livewell, which is basically what we've always talked about, it was going to be in Langtree, because I wanted it in the center of Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, Mooresville, Statesville, Denver. I wanted that location, and it was just on the back burner. I was doing it all. We had the doctor that wanted to do it, and this wasn't the perfect timing for him, but we saw the opportunity. The Livewell was not on the market, but it was being talked about that it could be bought. And it's like God was pushing. You said that's where you wanted to be. Here it is. You have the means to do it. It's got everything. It didn't have everything we wanted, but we're slowly adding everything to it. So we got a cryo chamber coming.
I can't wait for that. I'm excited.
I love the cryo chamber.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to get him in there. So listen, this is a great opportunity to hit pause. In our next segment, we're going to get into all the different stuff that you guys offer at Livewell. So guys, don't go away. We will be back in 3 shakes of a lamb's tail here on The Good Soul. Thanks for being here. Want a little bit more rainbows and unicorns in your life? Start your day with Good Soul Daily. Every morning, you'll find me in your inbox where I share a quick story, lesson, or quote to spark joy and inspiration. Come join our hundreds of daily readers, and let's step into our new day together with my lighthearted, Pollyannic approach. I would be honored if you'd allow me into your heart and head, where you are sure to be delighted and inspired. Text me over your email address to 704-618-7993 for your daily dose of happiness and reassurance that life is pretty darn awesome. Welcome back, everybody, to The Good Soul. We're here on episode 63. We're on our 3rd segment. The name of the episode is Biohacking and Living Well. I'm here with Ben Vanhook. Ben is the owner of Livewell Spa at Langtree in Mooresville. And we've talked about in the first 2 segments what's brought Ben to this place in his life. And we're going to keep going with exactly what is on the menu at Livewell.
So we'll start with the what was actually the first modalities there, and that's the infrared sauna and salt. So infrared sauna is good for about any problem that you're having in life. Detox is a big one. The heavy metals, most of the doctors now say if you're living and you want to live longer, then the infrared sauna is a must. Everything in it. Of course, just the heat starts getting your body moving, getting everything moving in your body for sweat. That's the good thing that you come out of it. That's what makes you feel like you got something out of it. But really the infrared is what, again, frequency, what I talk about frequency. The frequency of the infrared actually heats you up from the inside, but it gets your mitochondria going and working and getting back to where it needs to be
to rebuild itself.
Yep.
So when I do, and if you don't mind, I'm going to interject and ask questions about each modality.
Yeah.
So in the infrared, I noticed that there are different colors, specifically in the one bed where you can go through basically the whole rainbow. I always like to stick to the red. I don't know why. I'm a creature of habit. But can you tell me a little bit about how, what the difference between the colors are?
So that is actually a separate therapy that's in the infrared sauna, and the colors are different frequencies that help you with different things in your body. So a lot of it's mood. Mood is a big one that comes in on it. What color? I'll have to look back through the colors.
I know.
I didn't do my. But each color.
Each color represents something though.
Yes,
And it's different than infrared therapy.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, that's
it's
good to
actually
know.
different than the infrared. So the infrared is actually the black panels on the wall, and that's what is creating a frequency that heats you, that basically helps you start heating up from the inside. So
Okay.
really, there's two different theories on infrared. Most people want to come in and, start at 150, break the sweat, get going. And another theory is come in while it's cold and let your body build up through the infrared. Unfortunately for what we do, it's either one or the other.
Yeah.
So we keep it on the hot because 99% of the people want to come in and break the sweat.
Sure.
And get
Well, time is of the essence.
That is the biggest thing.
Yeah. I just said
time.
to Jasmine, some days I just do the bed. Some days if I'm in a rush, I do the combo salt.
Right.
If I got to get out quick. And I said to Jasmine a few days ago, I'm like, we have to remember when I get on the Vibragenix to turn the salt. Turn the sauna on because I want it to be hot when I get in there.
That's
that's
people
so
like that, the heat. And then going to the salt therapy, that's good for your skin, your respiratory, anti-aging. And that's a big thing with the infrared sauna that I missed, is the anti-aging part of it, because the mitochondria is getting back and repairing itself to where it needs to be.
Okay, so tell me again, I don't want to keep bumping you back to this infrared. Can you tell me a little bit more in English how that light is making my life better when I just lie in that bed? Is it the light, is, you said, healing me from the inside out? Can that be explained?
So there's different forms of infrared in our sauna. So in our Livewell. So the infrared that you're getting from the sauna, you don't actually see. So the light, it's not the light that is helping you. It's actually a frequency that's above visible light that you can see. And that's what the black panels are. It's creating the heat through the infrared, through a frequency and vibration that actually heats you up from the inside. So then going to the next modality, which is the infrared bed, the red light bed that you see.
The bed. It's like a tanning bed. I told you about that one.
Yeah. And the light you can see is what's helping your skin. So the red light. And if you look at it, you look and see, you think a lot of those lights aren't working.
Yeah.
You got a strip of red, then you got three strips that aren't working. But those are actually frequencies that are beyond human sight that is working.
Yeah. Well, Shayna had me look at it through my phone.
It's totally different.
She's like, look at it through your phone. And we did this whole thing. One time too, I think you might have been there that day. It was like flashing.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know what
the pulse.
We put it on, and I was like, "Shut that off. That's not."
Yeah,
relaxing.
so I did that last night on the
You
sleep,
did?
and not all of them actually. I had to turn it off too. Whenever it pulses, not every single one of them pulses, so it's one of the frequencies at a certain percentage that makes it pulse. But what the pulse actually does, and it's supposed to be better for you, but I have a hard time if it's pulsing to where you see it.
Who wouldn't?
It gives your mitochondria a break, so it's like it's intense. It's kind of like hit working out. You go real intense and then get a break. Go real intense, get a break. So the pulse hits your mitochondria, makes it start, going, working, repairing itself, and then it gives it a break and backs off a little bit. And then it does it again, where the continuous wave is just on your mitochondria the entire time.
Yeah.
So the red light part is, that's skin deep. And then there's 3 more frequencies that go up, and it goes up to 3.5 inches into your body is basically how deep it penetrates. And then your mitochondria. And we have 10 protocols right now that we have on there. Which one did you say you did?
I always mood. I always say, if I have my head, I have everything.
So I kind of change them up. The pain one, which I do have pain in my knee, and I have pain in my shoulders, and it helps tremendously with it.
Yeah.
But it has the highest frequency and highest intensity as well. So a lot of people, even without pain, like to do it.
The pain
is great.
How does the heat though? People
there's only in the sauna there's heat. And the bed has no heat.
My legs start going crazy.
Right. It doesn't have heat.
The bed doesn't have heat.
If it warms up, we've got a fan that blows up you, but it doesn't have heat. Coming early in the morning would be the best thing before anybody else gets in it.
We'll get you there.
Right.
We'll figure it out. We'll get you there. Yeah, so the bed is not. Okay, so beyond that then, let's get into salts.
Right, the salt. So the salt is going to be good for your skin, anti-aging, and any respiratory issues that you have. And it helps you, whether you have a respiratory issue now, it helps build your lungs to where and strengthen them to where you won't have respiratory issues in the future.
So inhaling the salt, they say, is almost like a broomstick.
Yes.
It like sweeps out your respiratory.
Sweeps it
It
out.
felt better when I lived on the ocean than when
Really?
That's why people like the ocean. Like it
love
helps.
The
Yeah.
ocean. Go up there on the ocean and come to the lake. It's a little different. You could feel it.
I love when I'm in the salt booth and I feel like that, and I taste
Oh
the
yeah,
salt.
it, on your skin is great.
Or my phone, it gets on my phone. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's working.
great.
It's working.
It's I love the salt.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ones. Then you go into the Vibragenix,
My
which
favorite.
is my favorite as well. So your body creates a magnetic field around it. And if you look at it, it's like the tree of life, it circles. So your heart creates a magnetic field and your brain creates a magnetic field. And that's why, whenever you meditate, you're trying to sync those two. But it creates, you can actually see it with different cameras, the magnetic field that forms. So in the tree of life, which is around you, which is your body, the Vibragenix creates frequency that basically runs from the ground up, and everything has its own frequency. So the Vibragenix actually syncs with those different frequencies. You can see, I'm sure you've seen all the different frequencies that are on there.
Yeah.
And then it has, so that's the cool part about the Vibragenix is there's nothing mechanical on the entire thing. So people will say it's a shake plate, but it's not a shake plate because the shake plate's mechanical. It actually vibrates and moves through sound. And that's what's creating the frequency for you. And then of course it has the speakers in the front that actually goes for your chakras.
Yes. So I was asking Brittany, is there a way we can find out what's happening where? In other words, like when like the cadence of the vibration changes.
Yes.
And if we could see on the screen, like now we're working your root chakra.
And I think they should do that. It would be very easy,
yeah,
whenever they do it.
Well, she's the woman who invented the mechanism. Is very accessible. I mean, she's all over social media. I don't know if you've met her, but she seems
I have not, and I would love to meet her.
Yeah, she seems like a cool chick. All right, so we've covered so far infrared, sauna, and salt and Vibragenix. We're gonna have to hit pause.
Yeah. Okay.
It's already time, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, it's already time. So guys, we're gonna wrap up in the fourth segment, moving things along here. Thanks again for being with us. We will see you in a few. Who isn't looking to get happy and healthy and empower themselves in an extraordinary fitness community? At Good Soul Hot Yoga, we offer life-changing yoga, strength training, cycling, and relaxing therapeutic classes that will make everything in your life feel better. For some power, balance, and peace of mind, we will deliver. Come experience our spa-like wonderland in the center of Mooresville. We will become your happy place. Welcome back, everybody, to The Good Soul. I am here with the amazing Ben Vanhook of Livewell Spa and so many other things here on planet Earth. But specifically, we're talking about the offerings at Livewell Spa, and we discussed the sauna, the infrared bed, and of course, salt therapy and Vibragenix, which is my favorite.
My favorite as well.
Yeah. So let's keep moving right along. What's next?
Compression. So compression, you can do it on your legs, your arms, your hips, and compression's for recovery because it makes your blood circulation. And the compression, the Normatec that we have is pretty neat because you can feel it actually compress up your leg. So it does a section, then another section, then another section. And it really, for the recovery after a workout, it pumps the blood and gets it moving so you can recover quicker, so you can go back and work out more.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the foot bath is the final one that's included on the Unlimited Core. And we talked a little bit about that earlier. The foot bath creates a positive and a negative field in the water. So whenever it's creating the positive field, it's pulling out negative ions. And whenever it creates the negative field, it's pulling out positive because they attract. So opposites attract. And that's behind it. If you look at the nervous system in your body, everything ends in your feet. It's goes to the bottom. Everything ends up there.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the technology is actually pulling everything out of your nervous system is where it goes. And you said you wanted to learn about the Emsella. So the Emsella is it is not included in the Unlimited Core. It's pelvic floor. They call it the Kegel machine.
Yes.
So that's what it is. And
What machine?
The Kegel. You know what the Kegels are?
No.
It's like what they have women do to like engage their lower. What would you call it?
Yeah, the pelvic floor.
Pelvic floor, yeah. That's putting it politely.
But that's the so it helps with incontinence. But
yeah, like women who've had babies when you can't sneeze or cough or laugh because.
But everybody just thinks it's for women, but it's actually
men
for
too.
It's so if you have frequent urination, frequent urination at night, it helps cut down on it. Weak stream. If you have to go and you can't hold it, that's what it's for. ED and lower back pain.
Interesting.
So
when I sat on it, I just sampled it for a couple minutes, and it felt almost like a TENS unit.
Yep.
Like when remember we had
so it's actually NASA technology. It's big magnets in there.
Okay.
Is what it's actually working off of.
Yeah.
So those magnets are creating the pulse.
Okay.
The contractions that you're getting.
Do you do that every day?
So you can't do it every day. You can do it every other day. It's recommended either every other day or every 3 days. You need to get 6 in at first. So there's 2 protocols. The first protocol is more for what we're talking about, incontinence and your bladder basically is what it's for. And then the second protocol is more for sexual health.
Okay.
It is what it is. So once you get your 6 in, now this is the neat package we have going now, is once you pay for your 6, which is, buy one, get one free at the moment. Then with your unlimited membership, you get 1 a month, and that's what you need to keep it up.
Oh, cool. That's good to know.
Yep. So you get that is one of the things included is your maintenance package with the Emsella.
Yeah, that's really good to know. I would really like to get him on the Emsella. Yeah, there's no question.
It's great. It helps. It works. I can promise you on both sides. My wife uses it. I use it. It works.
Okay, yeah. And then one thing we didn't talk about is oxygen, which I know is really simple, but
so oxygen is going to help everything in your body, your blood, getting oxygen into your blood, and oxygen is what makes your body recover, what makes your body function, what makes your everything work.
Right.
Mr. Wonderful just came out with that oxygen thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oxygen. I mean, obviously, oxygen is the biggest thing. If you don't have oxygen, you're going to die. But oxygen does so many functions in your body. It makes it regulate so many things in your body. Oxygen is the big thing. My grandma, and one reason why I do this is my grandma died of COPD at a very young age.
Yeah.
And she definitely had the gene mutations that we had. And I just watched her live such I'm not going to say a horrible life, but not a fun life, because she had everything, all these things wrong with her. She had sleep apnea like I have, and she was just miserable most of the time. Like she was a happy person, but you could just tell physically she was.
Well, I think sometimes, and I know I live with somebody with MS, their whole life is basically spent kind of combating their condition. I mean, poor Manny. I mean, since we built the house and stuff, you've learned to redirect a little bit of your attention, but your whole life, it's like you're but it doesn't have to be that way. And so I think
the health part of it,
this is your whole mission in life.
Yeah, that's the mission. And it really came, you asked why you did it. One of the big reasons was because of my grandma.
Your grandma.
She was my daughter's named after her. She was the lady of my life. Like I stayed there as much as I could, and I was her little boy. And but looking back, like her life could have had such a better. She could have lived a healthier and fuller life and got so much more out of it.
Yeah.
By doing what we're doing here.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too that you talked about. I think you had said in the first segment. Of course, it would be great to live to be 120, but moreover is to be able to really enjoy the moments.
It's the value,
relish, even if you live to be 85, if they're quality.
The value of your life, the quality, like the value of what you are able to get out of life, and feel good while you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's
like,
what it's all
enjoy it
about.
while you're doing it instead of just suffering through it.
Yeah. So compression, anything else to add to that? Just you
It's really just,
suggested for
yeah,
athletes or
it's everything so it's helping move the blood through your body, which that's what makes you recover is the circulation of the blood, getting it pumping through where it's not just sitting stagnant,
right.
especially on your extremities. You have a hard time moving blood through the extremities. That's why you get neuropathy.
Hmm.
That's why, if you're diabetic, your toes start turning black. It's because your
Sure.
blood can't move through, and this is forcing the blood. Later we'll actually have EECP is the machine, and that's takes compression to a whole new level with your,
Hmm.
because it actually syncs with your heartbeat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that'll be whenever we open the next phase of this, we'll have one of those
Okay.
as well. But
Man, this is what Petey gave you, those big boots.
Oh,
Those are
what's it called again?
those are well, his are nomadic. I don't know what brand Pete got, but his brother he's in the demo business, and
Really
he's
comes
always
across everything.
comes
Great
so
stuff. It,
comes across a lot of
yeah,
random stuff.
man, it pushes everything. Go,
Well, this is what he
yeah,
has. The
probably the
exact same
normative.
thing. Yeah, the
Yeah,
compression.
And
We
it
just
works.
don't
it
use them.
works.
My leg is like this,
It works.
and
Yeah.
it sucks that stuff right up.
You-
Man. Pay like a horse.
It's cool to feel the blood flow whenever it has a section off. Then you can feel it rush up. It's really good.
Okay,
Compression.
so let's talk Neosculpt.
So the NeoSculpt is very similar to the Emcella. It's NASA technology with magnets that instead of a tinge unit. So we had the Evolve, which is basically a real high powered tinge unit. This is magnets instead, and it makes the contractions. So one, like if you did your stomach, 30-minute is basically equivalent to 20,000 crunches.
Okay.
That's what it's going. So my wife's been doing it on her butt, and she's for the first time can actually she has a butt now. So
I could use
she's
that.
very excited.
I ain't coming away.
She's very excited about it, but it's expensive.
Oh,
but
I'm gonna comment on her booty the next time
Yeah,
I
you
see her
need
and be
to-
like, "Nice poop."
yeah, she's very happy. So
She'll be happy. All right.
it's basically
funny.
a workout, but there's other things like stabilizing your spine because it does strengthen the muscles that you're not normally going to be able to strengthen.
Okay.
So it's great for different kinds of pain and stabilizing. Spinal stabilization is a big part of it.
Okay. And it's any muscle group.
Yeah,
It
any
doesn't-
muscle
It's
group.
not necessarily just the core.
Nope, it's any muscle group. You can put on your calves, your thighs, your biceps, your triceps.
Okay.
They actually have a face one that we're looking into to strengthen the muscles in your face.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what you
For
see
a
on
lift.
TV. There's all the army
like
guys
work-
everything and wearing that thing.
Yeah, that's more of a tinge unit. So
What?
that's more of a tinge, which is kind of a shock electrical, where this is magnets that are creating the contractions.
It can create the muscle contraction.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk cryo. So you're doing kind of localized cryo now.
Yeah,
but
so there's we have the cryo chamber coming next
I
month.
cannot wait. I'm so excited.
But then the cryo sculpt, so it's good for pain management. If you have arthritis, it's very good for that. I have arthritis in my thumb where I tore all my ligaments in high school football, but it has helped tremendously with that. You have facials, which actually help fine lines, wrinkles, and lifting your face
Okay.
for the facial. But then it's actually body sculpting. For people that want to do the NeoSculpt, we suggest doing the cryo first to get the body sculpting started because it's a much cheaper option.
Okay.
And then you'll get more out of the NeoSculpt. It's more expensive, and we don't actually make the prices on the NeoSculpt.
Mhm.
The company does. They sell you these paddles, and you have to buy. They have 3,000 minutes on them, and once you get through with that set of paddles, it's $17,000 to get another one.
Unbelievable.
But if you are advertising cheaper prices than what they tell you, they just won't sell you paddles anymore.
Wow.
So basically, you bought this machine that's several $100,000, and you can't use it anymore because they won't sell you the paddles.
Interesting. So no coupons on the
Well,
cryo. No coupons.
here's the way we get by that is buy one, get one free.
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can still advertise the price that they're making us advertise, but
Okay.
we can come up with good ways to get around that.
Okay. Well, listen, guys, I hate to do this, but
Oh,
it's time to wrap things up. So we're going to have Ben back because Ben does a lot of work for the relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So can you just tell me again the name of the nonprofit?
So our nonprofit is Mountain Alliance of Mission, and what we actually do the work through and operate under is WNC Strong.
WNC Strong. So guys,
Okay.
make a note of that. You can just go on Google, you'll find Livewell Spa Langtree, and you can find us as always on all your major platforms on WSIC between 4 and 5 on Tuesdays. And like, share, comment, and please keep coming back, and we will keep giving you the good stuff. And again, go to Livewell Spa and Langtree. If you have any questions, don't be shy to reach out to me or to them directly. So,
Anytime.
Ben, thank you for being here. You're
Thank you
amazing.
for having me.
That was
Thank you.
fantastic,
Thank you.
guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on The Good Soul.